Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, I am a love coach specifically for women who want to heal and reconcile after infidelity. You have been cheated on, but you're not quite ready to let it go. You're not quite there yet. You don't want to do it. You don't want to get out of the relationship for whatever reason. This is the person that you love. And regardless of what the reason is, there's probably complex reasons. It doesn't matter. This is still the person you want to be with. And I'm here to tell you how you can stay, how you can work it out with your honey. All right. So let me make sure that I can see everything because I had a little technical difficulty getting on here. Hopefully, I am on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. You're good over there. All right. Let me make sure. See, I'm not seeing myself. Where am I? That's so weird. It's not. Should have gone live. Huh. That's weird. Okay, I don't know. I cannot see it over here on Facebook, but we are here live on Instagram. So, worst come to worst, you all can join me on Instagram. But I'm not sure why this didn't work. Live video. I don't know. Okay. All right. I'm on video. Okay. That's me up here. All right. Okay. Go live. Save the changes. Yeah, I'm up here. I don't know. I can't see it on Facebook at all. Hopefully that will pop up any minute now. That'd be great. No, apparently not. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead on keep on going because I can see somebody over here has joined me on Facebook. Make sure you put it in the comments so I can see who you are, okay? Because for some reason it's not popping. I see you. You're either on Facebook or YouTube, and I still can't see myself. Oh well, whatever. We'll deal with it. It's okay. All right. So I am always going to be here to tell you the things that you can do right now that are going to help you to start to heal after this trauma. And that's what it is. It's a trauma, right? We have got to, oh, what's a bruise of mine? We have got to deal with the trauma in order to be able to get past this trauma, be able to get to a better place with our mates, okay? To be able to actually forgive. That'd be the thing, right? That is the ideal if we can possibly do it, to be able to forgive. So that is what we are doing here. I'm going to teach you everything that I know about overcoming this as a trauma. And then once you start implementing those things, you're going to start to feel better, right? So first things first, before we even get started, let me just say tomorrow will be 3 days out from the full moon. And I always give you a warning. I always let you know about the full moon when it's coming because it's going to affect your mood. We're human beings. I'm sorry. We are all affected by it. It's a weird thing, but we are affected by the moon. And especially when it's coming into fullness, like that 3 days beforehand, your emotions are going to start getting tugged on. You're going to start feeling a little stronger about things, whether good or bad. You could feel much, much better. You could feel great. You could feel like everything is going to work out wonderful. Or you could feel worse, like dread, feeling like something is going to happen that's bad. That is altogether possible, but if you are aware of it in those 3 days leading up to the full moon, you're not going to be acting like a lunatic when it actually hits, okay? So I want you to pay attention. Just be aware that the moon is coming into fullness very, very shortly here, and you're going to have to be battling with yourself, battling with your emotions, because it's going to mess with you, okay? It's just a thing. I always like to tell everybody about it, let you know, because it will affect your healing. And if you're progressing along pretty well and you feel like you're doing pretty good, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 days before the full moon and that energy just keeps ramping up and pulling and tugging on your emotions, you'll feel like you went back to square one, but you didn't. It's just outside interference messing with your progress, okay? So don't think that you're all the way back to square one this week, okay? This week, if you want to talk about it, if you feel like you are annoyed at them and you just have to say something, don't say anything, okay? It's not the time. It is not the place. Don't do it. It's going to just stress you out. It's going to stress them out. There's no need for it, okay? Next week, if you feel like you just have to say something, you gotta do it. That's okay if it's next week. Next week, this time, feel free. But until then, believe that it's the moon, believe that it's messing with you, and don't start any arguments, okay? All right. So, what we normally do is we do some simple things that we can do to alleviate some of the trauma, start to get it to lessen, to reduce in our lives, and make it so that we're able to react with kindness instead of with pain and betrayal and deceit. What our behavior is how we are going to feel. If you continue to act like somebody who is hurt, you are going to continue to hurt. But if you act like somebody who is healing, who is doing their very best to be healed, you're going to start to heal. You're going to be on the path of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So we've got to start working on trying to be healed. And the things that we can do to start to heal are very, very simple for trauma. First things first, do your deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? If you have not, you need to start, okay? 5 times a day. That's what I need you to do consistently. Not just a couple of times, not just when the anxiety starts to mess with you, all day long, because you are dealing with trauma and triggers all day long. So if you're doing it consistently, you're pulling that level of anxiety down to where you can manage it. It is a decent level where you're not feeling like you are overwhelmed by it if you are consistently pulling it down. All right. So we do 4-7-8 breathing. It doesn't matter what breathing technique you use. I don't care. You can do 5-5-5. You can do 8-8-8. I don't care. Use some numbers. Okay. I do 4-7-8 because it was the one that made me work a little harder in my brain to stay in the counting instead of go back into what my brain was telling me. 4-7-8 was just such a odd combination of numbers for me that it worked for me. So you can pick whatever sequence you like, but this is the one that works for me, and it's the one that's on my YouTube channel. So if you need somebody to walk you through the deep breathing when you're freaking out, when you're having a hard time, go on over to my Love Coach Tasha YouTube channel and watch the video. Start here and breathe. Just do your breathing with me, okay? But we're only going to do it 3 times in this video for the sake of time, all right? What we're going to do is we're going to blow out. We're going to blow out like we're trying to exhale and get everything out of our lungs, okay? Then we're going to inhale for a count of 4. We're going to hold that breath for a count of 7 so that our body can actually use some of that oxygen we just breathed in. And then we're going to blow out for a count of 8, all right? You with me on that? Hopefully you're with me on that, all right? All right, first things first, we're going to blow out. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Lovely. How do you feel when you do your deep breathing? Let me know how you feel about it. How does it feel inside your body? A lot of getting past this trauma is paying attention to what is happening inside your body. Your body is reacting to a trauma exactly the way it's supposed to, okay? It is not doing anything wrong by making you feel like crap, okay? It's not doing anything wrong. However, we can adjust it. We can let our brains and our bodies know, hey, I'm actually safe. I don't need the fight or flight response right now. It's unnecessary. You can do that by giving your body the signal of deep breathing. It will tell your body that you are not hyperventilating. You are fully and deeply breathing and exhaling. That is what you are doing. Everything is okay. You are safe. And when you tell your brain that with your deep breathing, your brain says, oh, okay, I guess we are safe. All right, it's all right then. And it will let it go. It will not continue to make you feel so stressed out if you do your deep breathing. Okay. So we need to be doing that. Work on that. Tell your body what to do. Second thing that we're always going to talk about every time we get together is to do your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? If you have not been doing this, you need to get started. All right. Sit down with your journal 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Let's say that. Give yourself a little bit of time to think about your emotions, things that you're going to be doing during the day, things that could trigger you during the day, things that triggered you yesterday, and how did you handle it? All sorts of good stuff can go into your journal as long as you're using it consistently. It's going to give you the information you need, because that's what we're using this journal for. It is information about how we're triggered, how we're freaking out, the things that bother us, the things that, hey, I didn't really realize that didn't bother me. You will know these things and they will be very clear to you. And all the questions and stuff that you want to ask, put those in the journal instead of asking all the questions, because you'll be able to keep track of them there. Okay. You will know what it is that has been on your mind, the things that you have gotten answered about the cheating, and then the things that you need to know, that you would like to know, things that you haven't filled in the blanks about. You can actually know that you haven't asked already by looking back in your journal. Okay. Because your brain will trip you up. Your brain will tell you to ask the same thing 80 million times, and that's not helpful to you. Okay. So, doing your journaling, first thing you need is your date and your time. Then you need your level of anxiety. You need a date and time. So, when you go back and you read it, you can be like, oh, this happens at this time consistently. This happens on this particular day consistently. I can watch out for that. You can know ahead of time when you're going to be triggered, things that are going to bother you. And then your level of anxiety, 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. All is right with the world. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. It is a loss of control. You don't have control over yourself anymore. Chances are you're not sitting at your desk, at your journal, writing about your feelings if you're at a 10. If you're at a 10, chances are you're throwing something. You're screaming. All right. If you are at a 10, you're out of control of yourself in that moment. All right. So you're not going to be writing it when you're a 10. You can come back and write about being a 10 once you calm down a little bit. But chances are you won't be putting down 10 too many times except for afterwards. All right. So once we've done that, you can go back and you can read through your journal and you will find out lots of information about the way you feel, about things that trigger you, about things that make you feel better. And you will have that written down in a place where you can access it, because your brain is not as good at remembering things as you think it is, especially on a trauma. If you have it written down, you have a record of it and you can go back and look it up at any time. All right. Third thing that I'm always going to tell you all about is to develop an attitude of gratitude. Okay. Basic thing that you can do to start right now, forgiving, getting past this pain, getting past this anger, is to develop an attitude of gratitude, to look at your world and try and find all of the things that are good about your world, things that you can be grateful for. Okay. Writing them down. I have a practice right now. I take a jar, write 2, 3 things that I'm really grateful for in a day and put them in the jar. At the end of like 28, 30 days, a whole cycle, you come back to this and you read these things that you thought in the moment you were very grateful for, and it will change your perspective on the world. All right. If you are consistently looking for the things that make you feel grateful, your brain can't argue with that. It can't say that you can't feel better about something that you're grateful for, because it is a real thing. It's not the everything else right now feels like it's a threat, because you're kind of in a fight or flight stage. You're in that the phase where your body and your brain keep thinking that you're in danger. If you keep looking towards things to be grateful for, you are telling your brain, hey, that is not the state that we need to be in right now. It is all right. It can't convince you that, oh, well, you can't be grateful. That's not real. When we are in that fight or flight state, nothing good is real. Nothing good feels real to us because of the effects of the trauma on our brain. So if you are looking for things that you can be grateful for, you can convince your brain that they are good things, because your brain can't sit there and argue with you and say that they're not. All right. There are good things. There are things that make you happy, things that make you feel grateful in day to day. So we've got to start working on that attitude of gratitude. Constantly look for things that make you feel grateful. All right. I am grateful that whatever the hell happened with this bruise, I don't remember it. I'm grateful for that, because whatever that was, that must have hurt, but who knew? Right? I'm grateful for every one of you being here with me. I'm grateful that I get to tell this story. I used to be very ashamed of the fact that he had cheated on me. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And I dove into it. I wanted to know why this happens, why it happens so often, why it's such a thing, and then why it's so terrible for us to go ahead and stay with the person that cheated. Like, why are we looked down upon for that? And I started digging and investigating. And because this happened with my honey, with the person who was worth forgiving to me. All right. I'd never met anybody that was worth all this. I'd never met anybody before that was worth this much work in my heart and my soul. I, Nobody else could have got this from me. It's only this person that I love so much who could get this much work out of me. All right. It's only him. Let's see. Gratitude. Yeah, so I lost my place there. Gratitude. We've got to develop this attitude of gratitude. We've got to start remembering the good things, because trauma will tell you that nothing is good. Nothing is good. Nothing is good. Nothing is happy anymore. And when you are grateful, you combat that. You tell your brain that that's not true, because it's not true. There are still wonderful things going on. Just because you're hurting right now doesn't mean that those good things disappeared. So we've got to start seeing them. And when we see them, and when we accept them, and we are reveling in them on a regular basis, we are telling our brain what we want it to look for. Instead of pain and sorrow and trauma, it's going to be looking for things to be grateful for. All right. So we need to just assign our brain a job, and being grateful is a good job. All right. So that's why I always do Thirsty Thursday. Let me see if anybody posted anything good for Thirsty Thursday. I always like to share, because it's good to share this with other people. You will feel like you're all alone, and you'll share your pain, and other people will respond to pain, but other people will respond to positivity and gratefulness too. So instead of feeling like you are stuck in a bottomless pit with other people who are miserable, if you start looking for things to be grateful for, you're climbing up out of that pit. You're not down there all by yourself. You are out in the lights. Okay. You're not stuck down in a hole feeling terrible about yourself if you're being grateful. It's a stepping stone to being happy and forgiving, to be grateful. All right. So I always do Thirsty Thursday. I don't see anybody did anything for Thirsty Thursday, but if you're here with me, go ahead, feel free to post in the comments something that you're grateful for. And if you are here, hashtag replay, make sure and let me know about that too. All right. All right, last thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together, because it's going to help you with the trauma. Stop asking all those questions. Stop it. I know you want to ask the questions. I know you do. I know everything in you is telling you that you have to ask the questions. I am here to tell you that that is a trauma response. Your body and your brain want to collect up as much information as it possibly can to be able to prevent you from being hurt again. But that's impossible. You can't possibly just never be hurt again. That's not going to happen. So your brain, everything that it tells you to say, oh, if you ask these questions, you'll never be hurt like this again. It's a lie. All right. It's just a trauma response. It's trying to collect all the information that it possibly can about what is going on to try and prevent it from happening again. But you can't really do that. You can't. It's not a really easy thing to do. You're not going to be able to prevent painful things from happening to you. All you can do is deal with painful things when they happen and try to get to a good place after them. Try not to let them destroy you in the process. That's all you can do. So we are going to stop asking questions that cause us pain. All right. We've got to stop asking the questions over and over and over again about what happened and what they felt and what happened between them and what all of those details that you think are going to give you some closure. They're not. They're not designed to give you closure. All of those questions that your brain is asking right now, that's not designed to give you closure. That is designed to give you ammunition. That is designed so that you will always have something negative to say about this person while you're trying to back away from them. That is what it's doing. It is not trying to get you to reconcile. It's not trying to have you have a happy home. It is not doing that. It is trying to make you back off. All right. So I know you want to ask the questions. Okay. I get it. I know that your brain itches to ask the questions because it is a trauma response. Your brain is designed to do that. So instead of, if you just cannot resist, if your brain is just itching and you want to ask some questions, these are better questions to ask. This is the and. You can see it everywhere. The and. THEAND. Get these on Amazon. They're about $30. Excellent questions. That is the Healing Edition deck that I have. Excellent questions. Much better questions than the questions that you want to ask. The questions that you want to ask are going to continue your pain. These questions are designed to work for healing. All right. So we've got to work on that. All right. So I'll give you a couple of these. I just have them all piled up on the desk here. I hadn't even gone through them. How does competition affect our relationship and what can we do about it? That's a whole conversation right there. That is a whole sit down and talk for about a half hour conversation right here. How does competition affect our relationship and what can we do about it? That's a better question than the questions you want to ask, right? The questions you want to ask are all about her, all about him and her and what they did and how it was done. You don't need those answers. None of that is going to help you heal. It's not going to give you closure. It's not going to make you happy. So there's no need to ask. If it did something good, I'd say go for it, but it doesn't. All right. The next one is, what's the most ridiculous thing you've seen me do and why? That's a good question, right? Now, it could be a little touchy. It depends on how you react to it. Try to come at this from an open mind, open heart, and, hopefully they won't get mean about what's ridiculous. But, we all do some ridiculous stuff sometimes. So, what's the most ridiculous thing you've seen me do and why? All right. And one more from the bottom of the pile over here. How about that? What actions would earn your trust even more? Not now. Imagine you're asking him that. He's not asking you what he could do for you to trust him. What actions would earn his trust? Wouldn't that be a good question to know? Wouldn't you want to hear the answers to that? You need to know those answers. Those are good things to know. So better than the questions that you want to ask if you just have to ask questions. But in the meantime, I want you to try very hard not to. Okay. I want you to try very hard not to even ask, how are you doing today? Okay. Change that around to a statement. I hope you're having a great day today instead of how are you doing? All right. Make it a wish instead of an interrogation. Okay. And right now, you're probably at the point where you've been asking a lot of questions and he's kind of sensitive to questions. So if you stop asking questions, he probably won't even notice that. Okay. He probably won't know that that's what you're doing. but it will put him at ease. He'll start calming on down. You'll start calming down because you're not feeding your trauma response with more negative answers. And you can maybe meet in the middle and be able to talk to each other. All right. Lots of good reasons not to ask the questions, but just don't. Okay. Just don't do it. Alrighty, y'all. So that's the basics that I always want to talk to you about, but I want to talk to you about something even better right now. Okay, something else to help you with the triggers after this pain has happened to you. You deserve some help. You deserve to be able to figure out exactly what the triggers are, how they come about, how you battle them, how you defeat them. I am here to tell you all of that with the Tricky Triggers Challenge, okay? That is going to be next month. It's going to start September 9th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group specifically for challenges. So it's the Love After Cheating Challenge group. All you'll need to do is on Instagram, go to my link tree. I'm going to set it up and so you can, just respond and it'll send you the thing. But send you a link. But right now, right this second, it is up in my link tree on Instagram, and I'm going to put it in my Facebook group. I didn't have a chance to do that before I got live, but it's going to be in the Facebook group. It's going to be in the pin section, so you can go right to it. All you need to do is put in name, email address, you're in. All right. I will send you an email to let you know that you're in and tell you a little bit more about the challenge and what's happening. But if you just go to the page, it'll show you all about the Tricky Triggers Challenge. We are working on the triggers. We are going to do it all week long. Everything about them, where they come from, how to defeat them, what their purpose is, every single bit about the triggers that you need to know is going to be explained in that challenge. Okay. So the Tricky Triggers Challenge, make sure you sign up for that. Okay. Don't forget, just because full moon is about to be full. All right. Go to, it'll be in the pin post in the Facebook group, and it will be in my link tree in Instagram right now, so that you can sign up, that you can learn to start to handle the triggers. You can get to a place where they're not ruling your life. I remember being triggered and how much time it took out of my day. I was constantly thinking about how I felt, how bad my body and my brain felt dealing with the trigger. It's exhausting. It takes up way too much of your time, and it interferes with you actually reconciling, forgiving, and being able to move on. If you keep being triggered, it's super difficult to do that. So if you learn how to deal with the triggers, you learn to recognize them, and you learn to deal with them. That's the two things that you need the most. If you learn that from me, come September 9th, you are going to be in a better place for this Christmas, for this new year. You are going to be in a place where you're not triggered all the damn time, so that you can actually make progress. With the triggers, it sets you back. It makes you feel like you have just gone all the way back to square one, even though you've been working on this for a long time, because the triggers just kind of come out of nowhere and they smack you in the back of the head. And you feel like, oh, if I feel this bad just out of nowhere after so long, then that must mean that I'm not as far along in my healing as I thought I was. Your brain will do all sorts of weird things to mess you up. That is one of them. It will tell you that you're not making any progress and that you are way, way behind, and that it's just going to go terribly for you if you don't just leave and run off. All right. I know what the triggers tell you. We've got to stop listening to the triggers. The triggers will lie, okay? The triggers do not want you to be happy. They don't want you to be peaceful at all. They want you to be anxious. They want you to run. They want you to hide. They don't want you to be hurt. That is what they are going for. It's the places in you that are still not quite healed from this trauma. We're going to uncover them. We're going to expose them. We're going to start healing them. Okay? That is what we're doing with the Triggers Challenge. I need you to get on that. Sign up. Make sure that you do. And that's the only way that you're going to get prizes for the Triggers Challenge. Now, the prize, the main prize, is going to be feeling better. It's going to be having some knowledge over these triggers so that they're not just overwhelming you out of nowhere, and to be able to move forward with your healing and your reconciling. That's already a prize. All right. But I got better prizes than that. I do Amazon gift cards. I do all sorts of good stuff. I do journals, all these journals that I usually show you. I do a lot of stuff for you if you win. Okay. But in the meantime, you are going to be learning all sorts of tips and tricks to be able to get around these tricky triggers. The triggers will mess you up if you let them. But if you know what you're doing and you practice consistently, you're going to be in a place where you don't have to even stress about the triggers. If they pop up, you'll recognize them, you'll know what to do. You won't be all stressed out about it. All right. I'm going to make plans for you. Don't you worry. It's going to be something else. Okay. So I want you to come join me. This is the second time. I did this last year for the very first time, just addressing the triggers. So many people were asking me about it. So many people said that they needed that. And so that is what we are going to do. We are going to address the triggers. We are going to get all of the knowledge that we need about them in order to defeat them. All right. So if you want to battle the triggers with me, come on and join the Triggers Challenge with me. All right. All right. Let's see. I guess it's question time now. If you've got questions, if you've got anything that is going through your mind, you would like to know, any burning questions that you would like to have answered, I am fully here. I want to know and I want to answer. Ask me anything. And if you are here on the replay, hashtag replay, ask your questions. I will post them in the comments. I have no problems whatsoever coming back and answering your questions if you couldn't make it. I get it. You can't always make it. School year is getting ready to start. So my days and my afternoons are going to be really full again. But if you couldn't make it live, it's fine. Go ahead and ask your questions to me. I got you. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? I know I had questions. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see. I got a question from Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Hope you're here with me. Glad you asked the question. Bonnie said, I have a very hard time how he can cheat on me with all these women and he pays for it and blames it on me. Like, why? Why I feel so broken? Please help me. I am all for it. I am gotcha, Bonnie. I can tell you, I was asking you, like, how is he saying that it's your fault that he's paying for sex? I'm not sure how that's your fault. I don't get how he is relating that to you. I don't feel like that's your thing. First things first, don't take responsibility for somebody else's actions. This was him. He chose to do this, okay? He can gaslight you all he wants to, but you know what the truth is. You didn't make him go do this. You didn't put money in his pocket. You didn't call the hooker for him. You did not look them up. You were on the side of this. You did not have any choices in this. So he can say that you're to blame, but we can't blame other people for our own behavior. All right. Even as you were healing, I would say to you, don't blame him for the things that you're doing. If you're angry and you're hurt and you feel like you're justified, he can't say later on that oh, it was just because of him. You chose that behavior. You're choosing it. So everybody is only responsible for what they choose to do. He was responsible for this. All right. How can he do this? People can love you very deeply and still do the wrong thing. And that is a sucky thing. The phrase that pays for that is people can sin and still love God is what the phrase is. We are capable of doing the wrong things. We are capable of knowing what the right thing is, but still doing the wrong thing because we're humans and we're fallible. We mess up. All right. He could love you with all his heart. He could love you deeply, truly, purely. Okay. But still feel like this is something that he needs for his own pain. Most of the time, when they start the cheating and all that, it's from pain. Nobody makes a decision this bad feeling good about themselves. That doesn't go together. You can't say, "Oh yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and cheat on my mate because I'm feeling so good about myself." No, it is some kind of pain within you, something you're feeling bad about, and that's where it came from. Whatever it is with him and Bonnie, I bet you anything, you know what the pain is. You know because you love him and you're with him on a regular basis. So I bet you that you know what the pain actually is. All right. Sick, sad, stupid. All right. Those three categories are usually what it is. We've got sick, which is some kind of illness, mental, physical, addiction. All of that is actual illness inside your body. It's something different about what is happening to your body. All right. And most people don't do well when they're sick. We all are a little bit cranky, a little selfish when we're sick. And so we end up doing things that hurt other people because we're trying so hard to make ourselves feel better. Okay. Second thing was sad. Sad is some kind of loss. Sad is they lost a friend or family member. They lost who they thought they were going to be, what kind of man they thought they were going to be. If he lost eh, all sorts of just abstract things, his idea of who he was supposed to be or the man that he was supposed to grow into, if he feels like he's not that man, all sorts of things can cause that feeling of loss. I've lost something here. And so when people lose something, they try very hard to fill that hole. And so you end up doing something very bad, cheating, because you're trying to fill in that void. And then there is stupid. Stupid is not what you think it is. It is all of the reasons why we have such a hard time being in relationships with one another. His mother may have cheated on his father. His father may have cheated on his mother. And he saw that, and that became who he thought he was supposed to be. His dad could have been seeing hookers, going out and paying for it, and his mom was dealing with it, and they continued on forever while his dad was doing that. Shoot, it doesn't even have to be with his dad. It could be with anybody, any other woman. But the examples that we are shown are what we internalize as we're children coming up. And so when he saw pay for it, somebody told him that was a totally normal thing to do. Go ahead and pay for it. And it is the oldest profession. So it actually is technically a normal thing to do, but not in a relationship. Okay. We can't be doing that in a relationship. So he had learned a coping skill that was bad for him. That's the stupid stuff. Okay. The things that we learn from our friends and family and all the people around us as we were growing up that teach us the wrong things to do. That's the stupid stuff. Okay. So you probably know, you can tell, like, out of those three categories, what does he have? What is it that is making him feel like he needs to pay women for sex? What is happening inside his brain that he feels like that's a good idea? And you probably know, like I said, better than he does. You're probably very clear on his background and things that he's got going on. You probably know and could probably tell him better than he could tell you. Okay. Um, but don't fall for the hype. Okay. In the meantime, just let him know, hey, I'm not hearing that anymore. Stop. You can just stop telling me that it was all my fault. When we're talking about this, it is always your fault. This was your choice. I'm not going to sit here and entertain that because then that gets me off key. And that's probably the only reason he's saying it. That, just so you know, that's probably the only reason that he's actually telling you this. That he's saying that, oh, it's all your fault, is because that frustrates you, gets you all upset, and then okay, it blows up, and then he doesn't have to talk to you about it anymore. I bet you these things are coming up when you want to talk about it, when you want to sit there and have a conversation about what he's doing. He goes and turns it around and blames you. Is that what's happening, Bonnie? I bet you anything that's what's happening. A lot of the time, that's what they do. They'll try and thwart you by distracting you with something that's completely untrue that you know is untrue. So don't get distracted. Okay. And stop talking about it so much too. That's everybody needs to calm down. Everybody needs to calm down. Everybody needs to stop blaming the other. We need to just breathe and start to try and understand and have compassion for what you know is going on in him, instead of being so mad and asking him questions about it and putting yourself in a position that he would tell you that. All right, don't ask him anything. He doesn't know. He's not knowing. Okay. And another thing that is interesting that I have seen all these years doing this, which is it's a very fascinating thing. There are some men who believe with all their hearts that they are not supposed to have anything other than very, very vanilla, like missionary position sex with their wives. They think that anything beyond that has to be paid for. It should be a hooker because their wife is pure. And this is the person that I love. And so I can't do the kinky stuff that's in my head with my wife. So that may be another reason. And that's one of the stupid reasons. That's one of those things that he's been told that, oh, there are some things that you don't have your wife do. That's some stupid stuff. All right. So you may have experienced all of those things with him, or just maybe one or two, but I'll bet you anything that you have some experience knowing why he is actually doing this. So if you know the real reason why, don't even entertain, oh, but it's all your fault. There's no need for you to do that. Everybody, when they're caught up, when they're just super wrong, most people, that, and we try very hard not to be like that as people, but honestly, most people will deny and make excuses for whatever it is that they've done wrong. All right. That is just, it's a natural thing. We don't want to be in trouble. None of us want to be in trouble. And most of us have some trauma in regards to being in trouble before. So we will try very hard to avoid it. So he's not the only one that will do that, but you don't need to be gaslit by that. You know doggone well this was his choice. This is something that he did, and that's not your choice. You didn't do it. So don't let yourself feel bad about that. And I know that you feel broken, but you are not broken. You are absolutely doing exactly what your body and your brain are designed to do during this. Okay. Even asking all the questions and all of that, you are doing exactly what your body is supposed to do. So you're not broken. You are exactly on point. Okay. Now we got to pull up out of that. That's where you're at right now. Yeah, your body responded with an autopilot type of situation. It made you feel bad, make you feel broken. It gave you this idea about what it really is, but it's not true. All right. Your brain will tell you all sorts of lies, all sorts of lies. Can't believe everything your brain says. Okay. You're not broken. You're doing exactly what you were supposed to do. You're out here. You're trying to find some help. You are asking questions. You are doing everything you're supposed to do. So you're not broken. All right. You feel like this for a reason. And it is the reason that you have been internalizing what he has been saying, and you don't have to do that. Your trauma will want you to do that. Your trauma will be like, yes, it's all your fault. And so that's why you feel so bad and you feel so broken. You feel like maybe it's true because trauma will try and tell you that, oh, you caused this. You were the one that was bad and you caused this to happen. And so then you're in trouble with your own brain. All right. You did not do this. You did not cause this to happen. You did not cheat on yourself. He did. Okay. He was the one that caused this to happen. So don't sit there and internalize, oh, you're the blame. No, not even gonna accept that. You had some stuff going on, not me. All right. So I wish I could help you more, Bonnie. What else do you need to know? Let me know. Okay. I know it's difficult to feel like, somebody can love you and still cheat on you, but it happens all the time. People do stupid things all the time, and it sucks. But it's part of being human. It's part of the reason that we are on this planet is to be and do and experience new things, and sometimes get it wrong and have to make up for it and try and do right by a person that we've done wrong before. It is all part of our learning and growth on this planet. And it does not mean that your emotions aren't real. Doesn't mean that he never loved you. It just means that there was something going on within him that was painful that he needed to deal with, that he didn't deal with in a good way. He used a woman, used somebody's body to be able to make himself feel better instead of doing the internal work. That's all that happened. It's not your fault. Okay. All right. Good question. You all let me know if there's anything else you want me to answer. Oh, I love it. I love every bit of it. I got answers for you. I do enjoy having the answers. I do enjoy letting you know what the answers are because I didn't know what the answers were. I struggled. Okay. I was all on my own. Like I had like one friend who was like, "You love him, just stay with him." And everybody else was like, "Get him to that crib. Don't be with him. Why would you continue on with the relationship?" So, like one friend, one supportive person who understood that I loved him and I didn't want to let him go, that was pretty much all I had. All right. I tried all of the things, and that's where the dreams formula came from. All right. If you don't have the dreams formula, make sure you go and get it in the link tree, or just put path or healing path, either way in the comments, and it'll send you the link for it. If you're in Instagram or if you're in Facebook, go to the pin post. It's up in the pin post, and it's how to heal and reconcile after infidelity. Okay. Very simple guide. Put it together with all of the stuff that I found out as I was healing. Okay. I came up with the dreams formula from that. Everybody was telling me things that just didn't work. All right. That's what it came from. The first thing is the D, the decision. People told me that he needed to make a decision. He needs to decide what he's going to do, and he needs to decide that he's going to do better. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't seem wise to give him that decision. It doesn't seem wise. I want to be together. I want to work this out. I'm not going to give him that choice because he's already made poor decisions. I'm not going to go ahead and just let him decide what our future is going to be. I get to decide that because I'm the one that was hurt. So I get to decide whether we're together or not. I switched that around instead of kept looking at him and, do you really want to be with me? And continuously asking those type of questions over and over again, which got me nowhere. I just made up my mind. I just chose. I decided that we were going to be together, and he was just going to have to deal with that. And that attitude, just making that decision for myself, made it a whole lot easier. I didn't have to go back and say, well, does he really do this? He's here. He is here. He is present. He's trying. He wasn't doing the best right off the bat, but he's here. He's trying. I don't care what his opinion is. I don't care. I have decided. I'm the queen here. This is my story. This is my fairy tale. This is what I'm choosing for myself. Takes so much pressure off. You don't have to look to him. You don't have to get all sidetracked by his feelings and emotions and all that. You don't have to do any of that. All you got to do is follow through on what you want deep down in your heart. That's all you got to do. The R is recognizing and overcoming fear speech. Fear speech is the stuff that goes on in your head that you are saying to yourself, and then the stuff that other people are saying to you too. It can be internal or external, it doesn't matter. But either way, it is fearful speech. It is fearful things that your brain is telling you or other people are telling you. And what I figured out about that was everybody kept telling me that I had to be aware and I had to protect myself. Well, you need to protect yourself. If you're going to still be in a relationship with him, you need to make sure that you keep him apart from you. Make sure you get him to back off. Make sure that you are not letting him in too close to you. Come to find out, that doesn't work. If I want to be in a close, happy relationship, I actually have to let him close to me. I cannot be afraid of him all the time. So I worked on the fear. I worked on, okay, look, brain, yes, you have reason to be afraid. Yes, you do. However, this is a person that I am choosing to love, and I don't want to be afraid of them. I'm not going to listen to the things in my head or from outside that are telling me that I should be afraid. I am not choosing fear. I'm choosing love. Okay. E, evaluating the why. Why? What did they tell me about that? It didn't matter why this happened. It's just an excuse, and nothing justifies what he did. And that's all true. Okay. But a reason is important. You need to know why things happen. That's not just making excuses, that is finding out information. But once you found out that information, it can't just be used as ammo against him. It has to be used as compassion. It has to be, I know that this person had to be hurting. This was a terrible decision. And he doesn't usually make such terrible decisions. So if he made this bad of a decision, there must have been something wrong. Let me find some compassion for the fact that something must have been going wrong. All right. Don't try and protect yourself because of something went wrong. Open your heart up to him because something went wrong. Okay. The A, allowing the healing to happen. People will say, well, you can forgive, but don't forget. Which is basically shorthand for saying, oh, we'll still live together, but I'll bring it up and I'll throw it in your face anytime I feel like it. That doesn't work. All right. It doesn't work for a healthy, happy relationship. I'm sorry. I know you want to, but it doesn't. So what you have to do is you have to allow the healing to happen. You cannot keep the wall up and heal. It does not work that way. Your friends and family would say, you need to protect yourself. And that sounds like a great idea and all, but not if you want to be in a relationship. It's great to protect yourself if you're by yourself. If you're all by yourself and you're all alone, protect yourself with all your heart. But if you want to open up your heart to somebody, you're going to have to allow them to get close. You're going to have to put that wall down. All right. So allowing the healing to happen, things like having sex again, having intimacy, conversation, kissing, hugging, doing the things that couples do. Okay. We got to start doing those things again. We cannot just sit here and not do those things and protect ourselves and think that the relationship is going to go well. All right. What else did they tell me? M, for managing the future feelings, the triggers. Now, we're going to do the Tricky Triggers Challenge. You're going to know a whole lot about dealing with the triggers. But in the ideas that I was given about this, it was, you're going to be triggered and you can just lash out at him whenever you feel like it. You can make him suffer every time you have to suffer. You are going to tell him how terrible he did you every time you're triggered because he deserves it and you're justified in saying that. That did not work. That did not work. I tried it. I tried to talk about my triggers all the time. Guess what? Didn't work. And it sucked. It sucked for me, sucked for him. If I said it to him, expecting him to make me feel better, he was going to fail at that. Okay. Because he was not trying to sit there and talk about what he had done wrong all over and over again and apologize over and over again. He wasn't doing that. Okay. He's not that type of dude. He is very stubborn. He wasn't trying to have that. All right. As you are managing the feelings, you've got to manage them. Triggers exist to show you where you're not healed. That's not anything anybody else can do anything about. Nobody can get inside your head. Nobody can crawl inside your heart and fix you up and make the trigger not be there anymore. You have to desensitize yourself. You have to start recognizing. You have to work on it in order for you to get past that trigger. Okay. So going to him does nothing. Matter of fact, does less than nothing because it pisses you off and it pisses him off. And then you're mad that he's mad. All right. There's no need to do all of that. You don't have to take the triggers to him. I will show you next week. Come for the Tricky Triggers Challenge. Go sign up for it right now. and I will show you exactly how this can be laid out so you can have a plan. You know exactly what the triggers are going to be, how you're going to respond to them. It's a good thing. All right. And then the last thing, support. People would tell me, that you need to have all these people backing you, trying to help you be strong, but their version of strong was being hurt and mean and bitter. Okay. You have people who will support you. You need people who are going to help you get through all the other parts of the dreams formula, who are going to remind you of your decision, who are going to remind you not to be afraid, who are going to be with you in your fear and try and help you to overcome that. You need people who are going to remind you to be compassionate to your partner. You're going to need people who are going to tell you, hey, you got that wall up again. You're cutting him off. You need one to talk to him. You're acting like you don't want to be with him. You got to allow the healing to happen if you want it to happen. You need that person. You need that person to walk you through when you're having a trigger, so that you don't run to him. You go talk to her and get it through. Get through with the feelings, and then you can deal with him much better and much clearer. Okay, we've got to have support that is helpful, not a hindrance. Okay. The people who are all saying, oh, you need to leave him and you're just letting him treat you bad and you don't need to listen to them. Okay. They are not helpful. They are not kind. They are afraid, and they are showering you with their fear. You don't need support like that. You need somebody who will be in control of their self and their fear and be able to actually walk you through it. And that's what I'm here for, y'all. Right here, right now. You can work with me one-on-one, and I also have an After Infidelity Mastermind, which is group coaching. You can work with me either way, okay? I want to be here for you, so make sure you message me, okay? Make sure you get in on the Tricky Triggers Challenge. I got a lot of free stuff, but if you work with me on a consistent basis, if I'm your coach, you're going to get there a lot faster. You are going to have a much easier time because you're going to have somebody who's in your corner, who is constantly backing you, supporting you in the healing actions, not in the actions of your hurting. I know right now the actions of the pain seem like the only thing that's real. We've got to start getting you out of the actions of hurting and into the actions of healing, and that will become real. It will feel real to you if you're on it, if you consistently do it. But right now, because the pain is so real, everything that you're doing that is continuing to hurt you and make it more difficult seems like a good idea. I'm here to help you. Okay, I'm here to help you steer off that course, put you on the healing path, push you down it, and get you back to your castle. All right, and out of these deep, dark woods. So, if you are interested in any of that, working with me, getting in on the Tricky Triggers Challenge, whatever. I don't care. However you want to work with me, I'm happy to work with you. So make sure you message me or you go ahead and click the link and get in on the Tricky Triggers Challenge. All right. All righty, y'all. I think that's it. It is so weird that I can see this video in YouTube on Facebook being recorded, but it's not on the page. But hopefully it'll pop up after I get finished. I don't know. Anyway, y'all, I think that's about all. So if there are no other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, let me tell you just one more thing. Do your affirmations. The last thing that you can do consistently that is going to help you to start with to heal with this trauma is to do your affirmations. Sit down, look yourself in the eye, and say a phrase that is good and positive about you over and over again about you. Because like I said, that fear speech will tell you that you're all wrong. You're terrible. You're a horrible person. And I don't know what's wrong with you. It will tell you that to try and keep you trapped in the trauma. So instead of being trapped, let's start saying good things to ourselves so we can start climbing up out of that hole. All right. So this one says, today I will persevere. Today nothing will worry me. All my problems will pass in time. I like that one. That's a good one. Today I will persevere. Today nothing will worry me. All my problems will pass in time. And they do. That is a promise. I guarantee the problems will pass. You got to let them go though. You got to actually actively let them go, but they will pass in time, all right? All righty, y'all. That is about it. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. Instagram, make sure you go to my link tree and go ahead and get signed up for the Tricky Triggers Challenge. And Facebook and YouTube, come on over to my Love After Cheating group. If you're not in it, go join it. Go to my Love After Cheating group and it will be in the pin section and it will be at the very top too, in the little banner across the top too. So just click on one of those areas and you can sign up for the Tricky Triggers Challenge. All right. All right, y'all. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I'll be back again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday for the next episode. And school will be starting soon. So, it's a little hectic. I understand. But we're going to get on this. We're going to get to a better place before Christmas. If you want to get better, you want to have a great holiday season, get up with me. All right. We can make that happen. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. I love you and I'm so, so proud of you. And I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Bye, Instagram. And bye over here for Facebook and YouTube. Bye.